Hello everyone, my name is Chandra Raki. I am Assistant Professor in Electrical and Electronics Engineering Department from St. Martin's Engineering College. Today I am going to discuss about protection from lightning, over voltages and surges. So first of all, what is over voltage? We are having two types of over voltages. One is external over voltages and another one is internal over voltages. So first one is external over voltage. Second one is internal over voltage. What is over voltage? Normally it is above normal rated voltage. So what comes under the external over voltage is it's lightning from naturally coming from the nature. Lightning will come under external over voltages. And what is the internal over voltages? It is the over voltage caused internally in the power system from the grid. So that is because internal over voltages will come because of the sudden closing and opening of the circuit breakers, reclosers, etc. So that is called as surges. That is called as surges. What is surge? It is a, if we have a waveform like this is time and this is voltage, amplitude, voltage. So this is the peak value. When we get the peak value, it is called as surge. So these surges will depend upon the power grid. And this lightning is no way concerned with the grid voltage. It is naturally coming from the nature. So surges will have 6 times more effect than the rated voltage. For suppose we are having the voltage of 400 volts. So that is multiplied with 6 times. That is called as surges. That is more severe than the lightning. So coming to the PPT, now I am going to explain about what is lightning. And we can see that lightning will be occurring from the, as I told, it is external causes, that is lightning, internal causes, that is switching surges, insulation failure, arcing ground and resonance. These are coming under the internal causes. The effect of lightning over voltages has no difference in ultra high voltage engineering or extra high voltage engineering, as I already explained, but surges will have the effect on the EHV voltages because it's very high voltage. Now coming to the lightning phenomenon, we all know that lightning will occur from cloud to cloud. You can see cloud to cloud and cloud to ground and cloud to air. In cloud we will be having, upper part of cloud will be having positive charges and lower part of the cloud will be having negative charges. And you can see that in the down part of the cloud also we will be having small number of positive charges, that when the charges increases in the cloud, then it will break the air dielectric medium, air as a dielectric medium, it will break down and come directly towards the ground, which is a positive charge. So negative charges will break down and it will come to the ground. So that is called the lightning. In the upper part of the cloud, the degrees of the Celsius is minus 40 degrees Celsius and negative charges will be of 15 degrees Celsius and the small position part of the positive charges will be minus 5 degrees Celsius. The effect of lightning over voltages will be, you can see that we are having different types of lightnings. I will explain clearly on the board, then you will be understanding clearly. So as I told, if you are having cloud, the negative charges will be in the down part of the cloud and positive charges will be on the upper part of the cloud. And what will be having, here we are having positive charges, that is ground. This is called ground and this is cloud. So when lightning charges increases, negative charges increases, we will get the lightning. It will be of 4 types. What are the 4 types? One is pilot ladder. Second one is stepper ladder. Third one is return path. Fourth one is dart ladder. So what is pilot ladder? When the lightning charges increases, the negative charges increases and it will break the air dielectric medium and it will come directly towards the ground. So that is the first path, whatever the lightning takes, that is called as pilot ladder. This is called the pilot ladder. So while coming into the ground, in the air also we will be having some ions, right? So it will take different paths. That is called the stepped ladder. It will be in steps. This is called the stepped ladder. So when the ions are more, so it will take return path. That is called the positive ions will take return path to the cloud. So that is called the return path. So if ionization is more, it is remaining. After going to the cloud again back, it will take some seconds, milliseconds, 20 to 50 milliseconds. If again charge is more, then again it will take the same path as a pilot ladder. So the same path, this is called the dart ladder. This will burn the trees which are having positive ions. This will have more effect than the stepper ladder, pilot ladder or return ladder. The dart ladder is severe. We can get damage of the human life or anything. So it will be burning. So next, we have seen the what is lightning, right? So this is the charges what I have explained here. This is a slow motion of the stepped ladder. So coming to the video, you can see in the video exactly what lightning will be seen as. See, this is the ladder. You can see the stepped ladder clearly. These are all the thunders where we are having the, and this is the demonstration of the thunder. This is the demonstration piece where we can see the lightning clearly in the demonstration, where you can see, observe the lightning here. Where you can see the lightning here. And coming to the PPT again. Next is, we have seen all these lightning phenomena. So first of all, what I told is, from starting it is external over voltage and internal over voltage. External over voltage is due to the lightning. As you can see from these pictures, that is, it is a positive ions, the house and the trees will be having positive. When the from cloud we are getting the negative charge, and it will take the come to the ground directly from the trees. So this you can see the return path of the charge. And what is the dart? In the next video you can see the dart. Dart is the same path it will be taking, the return path it will be taking the that one. That is known as the dart ladder. Next, coming to the internal over voltages. Internal over voltage is the switching surges. What is switching surges? It is a short duration of over voltage that will be suddenly caused by the sudden opening or closing of the circuit breakers or any fault occurs. So then we can see the sudden transient voltage, that is peak value, that is in a very short duration of time, that will affect severely, and we can see the damage to the transformers or any equipments in the power systems. So next, the transient over voltage will be having the, as I told, we will be having it can be explained like this. Here we can see this is the waveform. In the waveform, this is called as the crest value. Crest value. So before crest value, it is known as front wave, wave front, and after the crest value, it is known as wave tail. So you can see that according to the International Electrotechnical Commission, we are having some standards of the wave, how much it should be. So what is the, according to the International Electrotechnical Commission, the standard of the waveform should be like this. 250 by 2500 microseconds. So what is 250? It is a wave front, that is the wave before the crest value, and 2500 microseconds is the wave tail, that is the after the crest value. And this is the tolerance value, that is 250 plus or minus 50 microseconds is a wave front tolerance value, and 2500 plus or minus 500 microseconds is the wave tail tolerance value. And as I told before itself, it is a surge over voltages are 6 times the normal power frequency voltages. So the impact of switching surges, what the switching surges can cause? It can damage the insulation and also cause the damage to the insulation failure, and also the internal over voltage will cause fire hazards. As I told, if it will be more impact on the system, fire may accidents may occur, fire may come. So we can see by the characteristics and different wave shapes, we can tell what type of switching surges are they. So these are the different characteristics of switching surges. When the fault is initializing, then we can see the waveform. So by the waveform, we can tell what type of, what severity the switching surges is. So how to minimize the switching surges? We are having so many methods how to minimize the switching surges. First one is multiple step of energizing of line by pre-intersection of resistors, by considering resistors, and phase control closing or circuit breakers with proper sensors. Before the surge is coming, we can sense it and we can close the circuit breaker. So drainage of trapped charges on long lines before the reclosing of the lines. We need to drain it before the reclosing of the lines. And the limiting the over voltage by using the surge diverters. This is the main important part, surge diverters. So the first 3 methods used are properly to limit the switching over voltages to 1.5 to 2 per unit only. So we will be using more surge diverters. So before installing any equipments in the power systems, we need to test them, whether they can protect the equipments or not. So for that, for generating impulse voltages, that is surges, we have the circuit diagram here. We will be giving DC supply and one charge capacitor will be there, and gap, sphere gap will be there, and 2 resistors R1 and R2 and a capacitor C2, and here we can see the waveform. What type of surge waveform is there? So when you give the supply, the C1 will be charging. When it is charged, overcharge is there, then the gap, air dielectric medium will break down from the gap, sphere gap, and it will be sending to the resistors. Through the help of resistors R1 and R2, we can change the wave shape. How much voltage we need for to the generating the switching surges. So methods of protecting against lightning. So till now we have studied about what is lightning and switching surges. So from the lightning and switching surges we need to protect our devices, that is like transformers, isolators, circuit breakers, etc., which are used in the substations. For that purpose we will be using what are the types? Overhead earth wires and lightning arresters or surge diverters. What is overhead earth wire means? It is a wire parallelly flowing connected top of the conductors. The transmission line we are having phase conductor, 3-phase conductors. Over the top of that we will be having overhead earth wire. So that will be from tower to tower, it will be connected to the earth. So that when lightning occurs, directly it will absorb the lightning and it will divert the over voltage to the earth. So it will be depending on the how much angle and how much height the earth wire is located. Normally what will be the it should be the height of the earth wire should be somewhat low than the earth. It should be towards the earth only, and the angle should be 30 degrees. So sometimes the lightning may, if over voltage is there, lightning may absorbed by the phase conductors. So we are using ground rods and counterpoise for the alternate for the earth wires. So to give more resistance to the earth wire which is connected above the conductor, phase conductors. So this is the ground rods. These ground rods will be of 2.5 to 3 meters long and are driven inside the soil 50 meters inside the soil. And this is the counterpoise wires which are laid under the ground along with the transmission lines, and these are more effective than the ground rods and provides more resistance. But installation of ground rods are easy than the counterpoise, and these are submerged in the earth only 0.5 to 1 meter only, so that theft will not be happen from the counterpoise wires. So coming to the surge diverters and lightning arresters. So that is for lightning arresters, over earth wire is one of the technique, and next one is the lightning arresters or surge arresters. What is the surge arresters? This is a circuit diagram of surge arresters. This is a surge arrestor which is be having a spear gap and a non-linear resistor which is connected before the protective device. This is the protective device, equipment to be protected, and this is the lightning arrestor which is having a spark gap and a non-linear resistor. The cost of this surge arrestor is very less and it is cheap, and also consists of only two parts, that is spark gap and also non-linear resistor. What is non-linear resistor? When the voltage and current is high, the resistance will be low, and when the current and voltage is low, the resistance will be high. So in normal conditions, this gap will be in non-conducting state, and when over voltages occur, then the over voltage will come here and it will break the air dielectric medium, and the over voltage will be sent directly towards the earth. At that time, the resistor will be less and it will be in conducting path and sends to the earth and protect the device from the over voltage. And when the surge voltage or lightning voltage is over, then again this non-linear resistor will be high. As the voltage and voltage and current are less, the resistor will be low and the resistance will be high, and it will protect the device from back current will not flow to the equipment. So as you can see, the characteristics of voltage and current and the non-linear resistor. This is the non-linear resistor characteristics, and voltage and current is increasing, the resistor will be decreasing. And we need to see that two things we need to consider while selecting the lightning arrestor. First one is the gap should be appropriate, so that in normal voltages it will not be conducting. When over voltage comes only, it will be conducting. The gap should be seen. And coming to the second one, the IR drop across the arrestor when carrying the surge current should not exceed the breakdown strength. If not, the insulation will get damaged. So we are having different types of protective devices, namely rod gaps, horn gaps arresters, multi-gap arresters, expulsion gaps, protector tubes, valve type, metal oxide lightning arresters, surge modifiers and surge observers. So this is the rod gaps. First one, the construction will be of this. It is made, these rods are made up of copper or aluminium connected in parallel in 90 degrees to each other, and this is the air gap here, and it is mounted on the transformer, etc. So we can see that it is connected, this surge arresters, what is the spear gap is there, and resistor one, it is connected in 90 degrees, and the distance from the protective devices, insulator bushings and the spear gap, rod gaps should be such that it should be less than 1/3 of the spear gap. If not, the insulation will get damaged. Here you can see the gap length, the two 1.5 centimeter rod bent at right angles with spar gap not less than 1/3 gap length. And to avoid the arc reaching the insulation, the gap should be set that it should be less than 1/3 gap length, and we can adjust the gap length to make breakover or breakdown at 80% spark over. If we set in the 100% spark over, the insulation may get damaged. That's why we need to see that it is set to the 80% of spark over voltage. When 80% of spark over voltage will come, then the air will get breakdown and it will be sent to the ground. It is connected to the ground, and one rod is connected to the line which is to be protected. And what is the limitation of this? The limitation of this rod gaps is that surge over and short circuit damage. It will be current will be flowing in the return path and it may get short circuited, and the rod gap will melt when if the heat is more, the over voltage is more, the rod gaps may melt. And due to climatic conditions, temperature, humidity, etc., the rods may get damaged, and the polarity of surge also will affect the rod gaps. So here you can see clearly from this picture, it is mounted, the rod, this is the rod gaps, it is mounted on the transformer and one is connected to the power line. And next one, to overcome those limitations, that is the current should not flow back to the arrestor, we are designing a horn gap arrestor. This is the design of horn gap arrestor. So you can see the design of horn gap arresters, and we are having a choke and a resistance. When the lightning occurs, this is the advantage of horn gap is the arc will be self-extinguishing. So it will not come back to the devices and damage the transformers or any protective devices connected here. So what is the advantages of this is self-clearing. As I told, the design of horn gap is such that the arc will be self-extinguished and the R will be limiting the flow of back current. And the disadvantage of this is if any birds sit on the gaps, it will become as a bridge and it may get short circuited, and due to the corrosion and pitting, the rods may get damaged. And the time lag is 3 seconds. Usually the surges will be off in microseconds. So practically we cannot use the horn gap arresters, but we can use them as a backup protection rather than the primary protection. Next one is multi-gap arresters. Here we can see multiple gap arresters are there connected in series, and we are having a shunt resistance and series resistance. And these multi-gap arresters are used for less than 33 kV high voltage line only. when the over voltage comes, directly it will be current will be flowing here and it will be diverted to the ground. But due to the shunt resistance, it will not be current will not flow back to the system and it will not destroy. That is the advantage of that multi-gap arresters. Next one is expulsion type lightning arrestor. In expulsion type lightning arresters, we are having, it is mounted on the protector tube also. You can see the protector tube. After that we will be having, this is the protector tube and this is the expulsion type lightning arresters. So this is cannot be used in the closed enclosed chambers, and the fiber will be eaten up, and that is the disadvantage of that. And it cannot be, it is poor volt-amp characteristics is there, and it's very expensive. Due to that, we will go for valve type lightning arrestor. Here in valve type lightning arrestor, we are having multiple spark gaps and a high resistance and a low resistance one, and it is used in the enclosed chambers, and it is directly immersed in the SF6. And disadvantage is it cannot be used for the steep waveforms. For steep waveforms, we will be going for the surge observers. And what is the advantage of this valve type arrestor is that it can be operating in 1 second only, and the impulse ratio is unity, and it is best lightning arrestor. We can see in the normal condition, it will the spark gaps will not be operating. When the over voltage comes, then the spark gaps will be operating and it drains the surges to the ground. Here you can see it drains the surges to the ground, and it is the made up of the porcelain or pilot glass housing. And next comes the metal oxide lightning arresters. This is a metal oxide lightning arresters. We are having so many discs, and it is also known as zinc oxide gapless lightning arresters, as we are not using any gaps in this arrestor, and it is connected to the line terminal and also to the ground terminal. When over voltage comes, this zinc oxide elements will give high resistance or low resistance, depending upon that it will be sending to the earth. So what are the advantages? In normal condition, the leakage current in zinc is very low, so there will not be any short circuited, and it will be protected. The system will be protected. Next comes the surge modifiers. So till now we have seen surge arresters. What they are doing is, when surge over voltages will come, it will take and it will send to the ground and protect the equipment. But why we are going for surge modifiers is that to reduce the steepness of the wave. Steep waves are there that we can absorb. The arrestor will absorb it, and it will convert in terms of it is used in the transformers and dissipate in the term of heat and protect the device. So we are using condensers. So since the impedance of the condensers are inversely proportional to the frequency, if the it is a low at high frequencies and large at low frequencies, you can see that the surge observers here, this is a protective device and this is a line. This is a condenser or capacitor. We are connected between the line and the earth. When the steepness of the wave is there, then due to this capacitor, we can reduce the steepness and send it to the ground and protect the devices. And here we can see this is one more type of the combination, resistance and inductance. Here when it is inductance is not there, it will has only R path, and when the inductor is connected, it will be short circuited. And this is one more type of thing. This is a condenser. It is connected to the ground. The metal sheet is connected to the ground, and inductor is connected in series with the line, and a capacitor is there. It will absorb the steepness and it will send the over voltage to the ground and protect the device. These are all about the surge observers, surge diverters. So till now we have learnt about the so many things, that is how to protect the equipments like transformers, isolators, circuit breakers from the over voltage, that is external over voltage, internal over voltage, that is lightning and surges. We have learnt about lightning and also the surges, that is sudden closing and reclosing of the circuit breakers, etc., and how to protect them, and different types of methods used to protect the devices. These are all about the protection of over voltages. Thank you.